I went to karaoke last night, and there was an older gentleman there that has asked me to sing with him a few times, and it's just never worked out. And so when he asked me last night, we decided on a song. We were going to do Shallow, and he was really excited. So I was flattered, but really I was appreciative of it. But then I kind of wanted to do my own thing. But because I agreed to the song, he kept asked me all these different questions, and I kind of moved away from that area because I realized that in the past that's what would happen. Like I was like, oh, why haven't I sung with him before? And then I realized that that energy of like clinging to me after I agree or whatever happened before. So I was like, I'll sing with him, but I also don't owe anybody my time and energy. So um, I was trying to make sure that I wasn't being rude, like, him being older and stuff. I wanted to be friendly, but I don't feel like I need to be extra friendly. He would ask me if he could hug me, and I, yeah, I wasn't feeling very comfortable with that. So, anyway, we sang the song, it went well. We got some good compliments on it, and I went back to my seat and thanked him, and he thanked me, and then he kept trying to hug me again. And I I moved away from the area that I was sitting closer to him because I didn't want to be rude or awkward, but I also wanted to stand up for my space, because just because I sang with you doesn't mean that I need to spend the whole time with you. And just because you're older doesn't mean that I have to like let down my boundaries or anything like that. So at one point, he came up to me and he said, just so you know, you know, I might stumble and all that, but I won't always be like this. Like, I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna heal, or I'm gonna improve, or something like that. I didn't know if he was talking about his singing because we had just sung, but then he said, I just want to know that I'm not crippled. And I was like, wow. He walks in with a cane. And he's definitely slow and he definitely stumbles, but I was never fixated on it. But now that he made that a focal point, he made it something that I now was, he made it just more apparent that he was insecure about it, but then apologizing for it, which came across really awkward for me because I was like, first of all, I guess this guy has no clue that I walk in here probably stumbling way more than he does. I've come in with the equivalent of a cane, like a trekking pole sometimes. And hopefully, I don't come in apologizing to people for it. And I felt irritated all around. And I thought about it for a moment, like, what is actually irritating me? First of all, he said, I just want you to know that I'm not crippled. So I said to him, but why is that a problem? Like, if you were crippled, why would that be a problem? That's not something that you're doing. It's something that's happened to you. And in hearing those words, I felt the irritation, empathy, sadness, anger towards myself, because I realized that this man had become a mirror. Like, the reason I had attracted him in my energy, I believe, is because he was insecure, clingy, feeling particularly insecure about his walk and his mobility issues. And I have been showing up in places like that as well. Yes, I might not have been apologizing directly to people for it, and also saying things like, I want you to know I'm not crippled. But I think my energy has been showing up that way because I'm scared of what's happening with me. My subconscious feels like people are judging me or thinking that I'm less than, or that I need to settle for less than what I want because I'm not as valued or worthy or something of all the things that I want, compared to someone that might be more fully in their, wholeness, healed, walking, moving fast, agile, all these things. And I realized that in that moment, I did not want to be like that. Like, I did not want to be showing up that way if that's the way I'm showing up. And this man was showing me how it's possible that I might come across, if I go that far, to like start feeling less worthy and feeling like somehow I have to apologize for what's happening to me, and it's not something that I did. Like, it would be different if he kicked me and then he was like, I'm really sorry for that. Yeah, okay, that deserves an apology, but why are you apologizing that you're walking slow, or that you have mobility issues? Or even if you were crippled, like, you wouldn't say to someone else that's crippled, you should apologize for that. So I was very grateful in that moment for all of this. And I went up and sang What a Feeling from the Flashdance movie. And I sang it like, really, like, it's all about believing that you can achieve what you really want to achieve and dancing your life. And I'm still fully believing in that. And in that moment, I felt it even more. And I felt really inspired and reminded not to apologize for wherever I'm at. And the handy dart service, so I don't know, some of you guys might live in different countries and stuff, but here in Canada, and especially in Vancouver, we have a handy dart service. I take it, and it's a big bus that is often drives people who have mobility issues, are in wheelchairs, can't walk, have other impairments or disabilities, and often for seniors. I'm not a senior, but when I get on those buses, I have tended in the past to, like, some of my friends, I'm like, oh, do I just get picked up or dropped off by a handy dart bus if I go on a first date or whatever? And they're like, no, don't do that. So I think in my mind I had that it looks funny, it looks awkward, like I should somehow be embarrassed or ashamed that I'm getting into a handy dart bus at my age. And yeah, anyway, because of all that happened with that older gentleman who I sang with, and the way he was apologizing for something he shouldn't have been apologizing for, I was like, nope, not doing it. And I went outside, and this other person walked with me outside. And I was like, I'm not going to be nervous or ashamed or embarrassed that I know that a handy dart bus is picking me up right now, and it's going to pick me up in front of the pub that the karaoke is happening at, and all the people outside that are like smoking or hanging out or waiting for their song to be called are going to see this. But who cares? Because I am so grateful that I have this service. I am so grateful that I know that I don't need to apologize for what is happening with me, and I don't need to explain to someone that it's going to get better and don't worry, I'm not crippled. Like, I'm never going to say something like that now that I've heard it from someone else's mouth. And I'm not going to focus on my disability as like the way to lead my, connection with someone. I'm focusing on my abilities. And I felt so grateful for this lesson in the strange way that it came to me last night. And when I got on the bus, actually, the other person who was at karaoke, the guy, he walked with me, took my bags, put me in the bus, said bye to me, and hoped to see me again soon. And this other girl that was waiting outside said, "Oh, I noticed that you often leave early. If you ever need a ride home, let me know." And she's an amazing singer, my favorite singer at this place, actually, and young. And I felt so good that I also learned that I was underestimating other people. Like the older gentleman, even though he felt like he was explaining something to me because maybe he wanted me to think highly of him, I feel like he was underestimating me and other people because he was sort of saying, I think you're going to judge me, so I need to explain why I'm walking this way so that you don't put me down levels because of my what looks like being crippled. And I have also been undervaluing people, thinking that they're going to judge me or they're not as sophisticated or deep or um, understanding that everyone has some sort of like challenge. And they probably have their own challenges as well. You might just not be able to see it in their movement or in how fast they go about things. But I don't need to apologize for it. I need to actually believe that people are much higher value than I underestimated people. And that older gentleman underestimated me because he undervalues himself, and I refuse to undervalue myself anymore. So, yeah, just wanted to share that with you. I will be on here again very soon, but thanks for listening, and make sure you lead with your ability, not your inability, because we all have them. Some are just more hidden than others, and bring out what is positive about you, what is makes you unique, and we're all unique. So, yes, I will talk to you all soon.